Hello and welcome to season 2, episode 4 of the D Hoop University podcast. This is your host, Daryl Harris, also known as D Hoopster, and we are here today to break down this WrestleMania 40 kickoff presser held in Las Vegas. Your boy was a member of the media front and center, and I'm happy to break it down with my guy Kwestin Fisher today. Not on this episode, but know that we will get to the NBA trade deadline that has come and gone, and we will get to Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas between the Chiefs and the 49ers. We're going to do that after the fact. So sit down, enjoy this hefty deep dive into what this year's WrestleMania may entail. Without further ado, let's talk some WWE. Coming live front of Ayo. What up, man? I got my guy Kwest on the pod. What's good, bro?
What's the deal, man? What's the deal? Fish Flicks in the house.
You may have seen this guy's work reviewing films. He's an avid film lover, watcher, critiquer. You might know his TikTok page. UNLV graduate, working man, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
And he's got the best birthday on the entire whatever calendar we abide by, that being June 28th, same as your boy Hoopster. What up, Quest?
What up, man? What a great introduction. I appreciate it, man. Made me feel like I'm famous. But yeah, you hit it right on the head with the working man part, man. We always working. Always gotta be.
Ain't nothing in Vegas free except unless you get lucky.
Man.
So we are here. We are here to break down this WrestleMania kickoff presser that happened at T-Mobile Arena a couple nights ago now. And we shot for this immediately after, and it became a tough task because Vegas is nuts right now. Absolutely off the wall right now. The Super Bowl is in T-minus 16 hours or so. We're going to try and get this pod up as soon as possible afterward. I got my guy Terrell on standby. We're going to try to get it in. But, yeah, everybody's lines is blowing up. Everybody got plots. There's stuff going on here, there. WWE said, hey, we got to get in on this as well. So they had this impromptu event coming off of hell of a cliffhanger 8 days ago on SmackDown. And that all built up into what I thought was a true experience that presser was, man. Before we just dive right into what happened there, Quest, let me hear how you felt leading up to it, what you were hoping for, because we've talked about this on the pod already, a couple episodes built up to it, before the Rumble, after the Rumble, about, man, this guy Cody has lightning in a bottle right now, and WWE recognizes that, and it is now their job to execute this road to WrestleMania the right way. And it seemed like we didn't know where it was going.
We absolutely did not know where it was going. And, you know, with this whole thing, with this build to WrestleMania, we thought it was going one way, but obviously things went left. You got CM Punk getting hurt, and then the Vince McMahon scandal, which Brock Lesnar is allegedly tied into that. So that's another major chunk of it
Allegedly.
Because it's allegedly because he wasn't name dropped at all. But when you say former UFC star and big WWE star, I mean, walk like a duck, sound like a duck. It's a what?
Right.
And so you lose those chunks of pieces because you lose out on two potential matches on like a Brock Lesnar and a Gunther and CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Those are two big marquee matches you miss out on. So it's like it's been a roller coaster of a build to me, in my honest opinion, so far. And so, we were starting off strong. We had Cody win the Rumble, of course. That was absolutely the right call to do, just based on how everything was going and transpiring. And obviously, he points to The Rock at the Royal Rumble. So that instantly gets me excited. Roman, my apologies.
For the record.
See, the bloodline. You get around my drift. And so he points at Roman at the Rumble. And so we get instantly excited, like, yes, the story. We're gonna finally get to the point of finishing the story. And then we get a ginormous Dwayne Johnson sized rock get planted right in the middle of Cody's build. And as soon as I saw that, I instantly went red because it's like, listen, here's the thing that people got to understand. Of course, do we all want to see Brock versus Roman? Of course we do. Of course we do. We've been waiting on this match for how many years?
Right.
Almost a decade now. Almost a decade now. And now with the character that he's with now is the perfect time to do the match. And it should have happened last year. And need I to remind everybody that this match was supposedly locked in, but then they decided to put their pencils down.
Let Dwayne tell it.
That's in the words of Dwayne. In the words of Dwayne. And it didn't happen. So getting it now, it would seem like it's just forced. And the way they presented it on SmackDown, of course, too, you really had Cody go out there, turn down a main event and be like, here you go, Dwayne. Go ahead and do your bloodline storyline match. And it just wasn't right. And then we're getting reports about him making pitches to the board, politicking this match in. So, of course, I was a part of the We Want Cody movement because there's a lot of ramifications. Because, number one, Cody's earned this moment. Two, Roman's held onto that title too goddamn long now. And three, this has been a 2-year-long story that we're finally feeling like we're feeling that climax. Like I came up with the analogy of, listen, WrestleMania 39 for Cody was Avengers Infinity War. We are now in the Avengers Endgame phase of this story. So it's time for the superhero big time ending. And so just seeing Dwayne come in and just take it over, it really hurt. And so the backlash, of course, that was expected, a la Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan, because when you try to insult the fans' intelligence, they're going to let you know, like, hey, that's not right. And how it went down on that SmackDown was not right. Now, had Dwayne won the Rumble, none of this stuff would be happening. If he won the Rumble, none of this would be happening. And so we got the press conference, and man, I walked out a happy man, of course, and just overall the feeling and the setting of it, definitely a lot of UFC influences and vibes sprinkled throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, because they're sports entertainment, but now we're seeing WWE transition from entertainment to more sports centric now. And so the whole experience of the vibe was just interesting. And so when you get the chance, I want to know your thoughts as well on the presser as well, and it's how you feel WWE transitioning into the sports centric role.
Yeah, bro. It's funny because, like you said, you referenced the SmackDown that blew everything up. Essentially, the nothing was the same SmackDown, and I watched it with Bash and was like, jumping up and down as the Rock's coming. Now, not like a little kid, like a grown ass kid. Because right, like you said, this is what we all wanted at one point in time, at least, and we're getting teased by it. And it's like, okay, we can't keep kicking this can down the road. However, we can't kick the Cody raising the belt down the road much further at all either. Now, over that weekend, when We Want Cody hashtag was the leading trend on all of X, when, The Rock became public enemy number one, I I tend to be this person in a lot of rooms where I'm like, all right, hold on, everybody, let's take a deep breath. What actually happened? When two things were happening at the same time. For one, they never said anything. Rock and Roman came face to face, and all Cody said explicitly was that he wasn't coming for Roman at Mania, which was enough to stir the pot incredibly. But in the days that followed, all the reports of, and I actually want to hear from you about this because, Rock's coming in doing what he's doing. He tried to take over the whole DC universe. He tried to make Black Adam this and that. And that's your world more than it is mine, for sure. He's trying to make this Fast Fam, like Fast and Furious. Like, nah, hold on, Dwayne. This isn't about you. And honestly, bro, now that we sat through Thursday and he had his appearances on Radio Row, on Pat McAfee's show, complete side note, I have to say it now because I'm going to forget about it at some point. 2024 is setting up to be one of them years that, like, you just say 2024, you will have memories vividly of like, oh man, we was getting good music, we was getting good wrestling, we were getting good. The Super Bowl was in Vegas, man. Like, we're only 6 weeks in. 2024 has been memorable.
It's only February 10th.
Bro. Not even 6 weeks. Like, so I just had to say that. So that's on record. But we got through it all, bro. And I think that this has worked perfectly. What we have right now, there's a lot of talk about, Hollywood Rock is back. Heel Rock is back. Sam Roberts sort of alluded to it. I don't think this is a version of The Rock we've ever seen before. It has bits and pieces, but this is what nobody really expected because Rock versus Roman was highlighted so explicitly when we actually have Bloodline Rock in WWE, Bloodline Executive Rock, Corporate Rock, which we didn't think would be the case, especially on this road to WrestleMania. Maybe eventually and down the line. But dude, it's honestly a thing of beauty because that presser, we'll talk after we get about to talk about the main event, quote unquote, of the presser. We'll talk about some of the other events because there were other notable points from it, other appearances and things like that. But dude, that final segment, which started with Seth Rollins coming out, saying, Cody, it's time to make a decision, champ. Come on out. Cody's music doesn't hit. Roman's music hits. And he comes out, continues to throw mud all over Seth Rollins' name, all over the World Heavyweight title. It's just like, bro, y'all take that JV championship over to Monday night. Like, stop involving me with this petty little belt you have, Seth. It's not about you. I have notes on that as well. Roman's music hits. He's out. Heyman's holding the belt. Rock interrupts him, and they say, yeah, it's time. I want you. Roman says, yes, I also want to do the main event against you. This will be the match for WrestleMania. And Cody comes out. He's the only wrestler that came out whose music didn't play. Just footnote. Comes out, says, everybody, this is some bullshit. Just like that. And says, knock it off. I'm going to challenge you, Roman, at WrestleMania. Triple H later confirmed that will be the main event. But the subtlety that I'm sure we both picked up on, because I'm also a film, I don't get as much time to watch movies currently as I do now, but growing up, I was active in drama. I've, done some stage stuff. Nothing here, not going to see me anywhere now. But, like, I also have appreciation, studied it, learn these things, stage presence, how to all that, whatever. Working TV now. It was clear the staging of what happened once Cody came out. The Rock aligned himself on the side of the stage with Roman. And Roman sort of took deference to The Rock and was like, go ahead. Like, you got him, big dog. I'm right here, though. And Rock kind of set the record straight. Eventually, that led up to the slap. The words leading up to the slap, if not verbatim, were, hey, you diss his family, you're dissing my family. And now you have a problem with me. Slap. Push and shove, hold me back, all this and that. We got all this out there. We got Pierce out there, Triple H. And watching it, bro, I know you did too. It's like the tension, it built up so nicely because you could almost tell he was about to hit him before he hit him. I feel like I could. And I was so mad because I recorded a lot of it, missed the slap, because I was just so like, you had to stand up. You couldn't sit down because everybody in front of you standing up the whole nine. And it's just like, oh, this is good. This is very, very good.
Yeah,
we just had Bash walk into the room. Bash, do you want to say what's up?
What's up?
Say what's up, Kwest.
What's up, Kwest?
What's up, Bash?
Bash, you want to say we want Cody?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
See, that's a good wrestling fan right there. That's a good.
What were your thoughts as it was happening and what it looked and felt like?
I mean, it was interesting. I was like, because it started off, I was a little worried about. I'm like, okay, we got Seth out here first. He about to have Cody come out, and then Roman interrupts. It was all laid out perfectly because let's be real. This was not a work from the start. No, WWE shot themselves into this work. They had to make do with what they messed up on that SmackDown with having Cody turn down that main event.
We'll never truly know.
Oh no, we 100%. Oh, trust me, that was they shot themselves into a work because you don't think Dwayne wanted it to be a straight up him babyface? Hashtag this, hashtag that. Roman, I'm the head of the table feud. Oh no!
I agree. Even if I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I got you.
It's tough because his comments and all this and that leading up, his reasoning why it didn't happen in Hollywood last year or 2023, was that what's the story we're telling? And coming back, he said, I want to do something that we've never, he was shooting for the moon, talking about what this angle had to be. Mm-hmm. And long game, and in quotation marks, this and that. I want to believe that they knew it wasn't going to be that easy. Especially, now I do think it was a knee-jerk reaction following the injuries and following the Vince McMahon allegations.
Oh, absolutely.
Causing real jeopardy to the company.
Mainly the Vince allegations, because you see how quickly the media swifted under that.
Now, I believe that there was some changing course in the week that followed the Rumble victory. But even just in terms of, hey, y'all go out there Friday, don't say anything because we're not sure. But they've seen this time and time again when the fans are, I guess like you said, you couldn't have predicted that they would have about-faced on The Rock so quickly. But they had to know that that the fans weren't going out like that about Cody. They had to know. And if there was some reverse psychology, voodoo, yin and yang, mind games being played of we're going to think that that Cody's doing this just to make him even bigger, Is that giving them too much credit? Probably. It must be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, but here's the thing we got to remember. WWE is owned now. They are merged into a whole nother company. Now, if this was the Vince regime, I think Vince is smart, but he damn near had amnesia with some of the things he did with his creative. But I don't think Vince would be that. You never know with Vince. Never mind that. But listen, the people behind that are owning TKO that have majority of WWE, they don't know nothing about running a wrestling company. So they know, they see Rock, and because Ari Emanuel and Dwayne, they have a long history. It's been reported. So they see Dwayne,
he's made note of that.
Box office. They speak of box office. So they see Dwayne and then his cousin. They want that. They're gonna, of course, want that, and then easily pitch that with the injury. That's gonna, yeah.
And blending some more UFC ism into what WWE now is.
That's sports centric.
At least, right. Being that, Endeavor is the one behind them. In UFC booking, Dana White fashion, you announce 2 people. This is happening in 3 to 4 or 5 months. Get ready for it. So, them inserting The Rock could have been from the board. Hey, let them know it's Rock and Roman. Yeah. We're building to that. That's Mania XL. When, the road to WrestleMania is not booked like that. It is not set in stone. Things change. Things are subject to change. The fans will be heard. You're not going to do wrong by them. And the other, similarity being this presser, it was very, very much a UFC feel. Different in terms of they didn't answer questions. They didn't field things like that. Whereas you would see, for example, UFC 200 or whatever big show, you got all the folks that are on the card on the stage. They're introduced to all this and that. It's not the weigh-ins, that's separate. But the pressers, you have them all out there and they're all popping off. Mm-hmm. This was that in that they had T-Mobile Arena pretty much cut in half, and it was a stage facing the crowd. And, they pretty much packed all the seats they had out. And instead of getting that press conference feel, it felt like a Raw, or it felt like a regular weekly show in terms of the, in and out cycling of folks we had kind of leading up to that final segment involving both the champs and The Rock and Cody and all that. But I don't know, man. Eventually, somehow, they've gotten lucky. They've gotten lucky that Cody is the man, pretty much.
That's going to be the man to carry the company for at least the next 6-7 years until guys like Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes are ready to take up that mantle full time. So, you got to 100% get behind Cody right now at this time and make that push. I understand from me and you understand, I think, of course, the business perspective of doing Rock and Roman. We get the money and the business behind
Box
it, of
office.
course, but you got to play your cards right. That's why them pivoting right now, in which I think we're safe to say this match is not happening at WrestleMania 40. Now, is The Rock gonna wrestle at WrestleMania 40? That's a separate question. That's a separate question that has to be talked about, because I personally think he's still gonna be working at Mania in some fashion or form.
As much as they did sort of clear up, they definitely only announced the main event. Mm-hmm. Things are still subject to change.
The main event and Bayley and Io Sky, just so we could put some respect on that match. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Mm-hmm. If you'll hear on the Rumble pod, man, I said nope. Thumbs up, thumbs down, Batista style. That will be Bayley's story coming out of the Rumble. Book it. Can't bet you it's happening. All this talking behind her back. You think that she would? No, she's gonna fix that.
Simple storytelling. It's evolution all over again.
As far as what is happening on the rest of Mania, we know we're getting Jay and Jimmy. and that's going to be fantastic. That's going to be great.
Not to interrupt you or cut you off in regards to that match. They got to start building towards that match right now, and they should have did more in. They should have did more in the Rumble to build towards that match. I'm excited like you, but the wheels got to get in motion now.
In the Rumble recap, I noted with Justin Walker, I was like, I appreciated how they did that in the Rumble because they didn't do what a lot of people thought would happen. The Spider-Man, the ring's full and eventually they turn around and it's face to face. They said, no, 1, 2, boom, give you a taste of it. But even then, it wasn't overdone in the Rumble match, their encounters. One didn't eliminate the other. One didn't screw the other. Now, that might have been better, but to your point now, it is time to turn the dial up on that. And it's interesting because we have Jay and Gunther playing out right now, which I believe in main event Jay being a thing. That, come this time next year, we could be talking about him possibly as a Rumble winner, world champion-ish in a year or so's time. That's still, whatever you think the ceiling on Jay is. But right now, he's got this thing working with Gunther. He's made it clear he wants the title this year. So you shouldn't really be setting him up to lose this. And if you wanted the IC title to be a part of their feud at Mania, I could see that. But that means a lot has to happen quickly. Like you're saying.
Yeah.
Y'all got to make this clear. Are we not getting Jay and Jimmy at Mania? Because then you're going to piss people off too.
Mm-hmm. And then not only that too, it's like if you have the IC title on the line, that'll look a little bit political, like Rock's head all over that. Because then if you take that title off of Gunther, then what do you do with Gunther?
People are going to be mad about that. They're going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some Gunther World Heavyweight Championship push. I'm a fan of that as well. But we cannot step on what Drew McIntyre is doing right now.
I 1,000% agree.
He wants all the smoke, and you can just kind of see when the going gets good, the people who are meant to be at the top start to separate themselves, and Drew is like, yo, stop playing with me. I'm going to call it like I see it. Put anybody next to me, you're going to see that, look, I'm ready for that moment as well. So Drew's definitely a part of the main event. It's not Gunther. Gunther should beat Jay at Jimmy's expense.
I agree 100% on when you say that. I agree too. And so then with Jimmy and Jay, have Jimmy cost in the match like, oh, you think you better than me? You think you can win championships without me being there with you? Then that's how that sets that up. Boom, bam, boom. And then right when you mentioned Drew McIntyre as well, this is something I think I can honestly say this is the best work I've seen Drew done, honestly, since his work in NXT, since he's come back, in my humble opinion. That man is absolutely killing it right now. He's seeing that CM Punk has went down with an injury, and you see him just immediately step up and pick up the mantle. And you're seeing him like, hey, listen, one of our stars is down. You could put the company on my back. I've proven it before. Let me do this one more time. And I've enjoyed Seth's run, honestly. I have. It's not the greatest title run. Not every title run has to be great. It's been good. But now I can say I think it's time we get the belt off of him. And I think, honestly, you give Drew that moment. You give him that moment in front of the fans. And then you keep him as this heel on this heel run. But there's also a wild card into the mix that we haven't brought up. Unfortunately, that's in the mix. Priest. But yeah, Damian Priest, he is definitely a wild card in this entire world title situation, especially with Punk going down. Could we possibly see a situation where we get Drew McIntyre versus Seth? Drew wins the title, and then immediately Priest goes and cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase to win the world title. And maybe that just all depends. Now, if they do go Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, would that be in the main event? Would that be in the main event, or would you go Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, which is obviously happening? And also going back to the world title match, because with the way this Sami Zayn story is going too,
so that's why I
brought
interject.
him up. Yep, I think it's going one of two ways. It's either one, he's gonna go after Gunther, or two, he's gonna be in the world title match in a triple threat. It's between those two options.
This is a conveniently timed element of when we're recording, because we do have SmackDown last night to recall. And I think there's a couple things that work into what we've been talking about that I'll try to work in based off of last night. SmackDown's main event was nothing. There was no Roman. There was no Cody. There was no Rock. Triple H addressed it off the top. That was it. The main event was a Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Sami and Randy. And I said, ooh, this is difficult because who's losing this? I have wanted Sami Mania ever since he cut the, what did I call it? I called it the, ever since he cut the Hamas promo on Raw. Like, Sami's socially active.
Yep.
And the war was picking off, and he just cut this impassioned-ass promo, along with saying, I want to be in the main event scene. I feel like Sami Mania, just as a thing, folks are going to love that so much. Now, this isn't his year. It doesn't really feel like it.
Yeah.
Unless, so last night, he lost to Randy, and I was like, oh, man, what are we doing with Sami? And there's only 2 people qualified for the chamber as of now. I could see Sami being the last man in on some, last chance. They do this all the time with these big multi-man matches. This is your last chance to qualify. I can see Sami sneaking in that way. Now, one of the other things we were talking about was, what is Rock doing at WrestleMania if he's not in a match either with Cody or with Roman? And you could do night 1, night 2. I think that the roster is so deep, the amount of good stuff is so deep, that we don't need Cody to work twice.
Yeah.
Now that he's set his sights clearly on Roman, nobody can take that from him. So why is he wrestling 2 nights? I saw this floating on Twitter earlier, and it's sort of out there, and I'm only mentioning now as a concept. We'll see where it's going, but The Rock right now does not seem like he is just going to be on the sidelines at WrestleMania. Could we get a match that I believe we've never gotten properly? We got Evolution versus Rock and Sock, I believe, at WrestleMania 20. I do not think that we ever got The Rock versus Randy Orton marquee singles match. Now, Randy won the Chamber qualifying match, and I didn't really want Randy to win that match because A, I was pulling for Sami, and B, how much sense does it make for him to be like with Randy coming back? Dude, I was the biggest Randy fan as a kid, more than John. Like John first, of course, but as Randy became the real heel, Apex Predator, voices, everything, I loved Randy. And so I'm saying that now because now that he's come back, I'm like, all right, y'all, hey, there's a lot going on. I love having Randy back. But why are we just putting him from the Universal picture to the heavyweight title picture just because he's back? So I don't want to see him win the Chamber, essentially, nor do I think it makes that much sense.
Yeah, he's not winning that.
Right? So I guess we can loop him back into having Cody's back, so to speak. Like, hey, I brought you in here. I'm not going to let anybody violate you thinking that they have more power than you. Because guess who also is a third-generation superstar? Guess who also has family that help, all this and that. That could be his reason for getting inserted into some of the bloodline mess. And maybe, just maybe, we pair up Rock and Randy. Maybe. As of this moment, what else are we doing with Randy at Mania? I don't know. But we got a lot to figure out still. That's just a concept. And then with the world title picture, we agree. Drew is in that match at Mania. Seth will be defending. Sammy might shoehorn his way in there, but as you mentioned, Priest being the just, you know, the beans in the casserole that, like, why are you here? What would be poetic is if he cashed in on Seth at WrestleMania, because nobody can cash in at WrestleMania again like Seth did, because he did that. Now, if you're returning the favor and now Seth's on the opposite end of the cash in, to me, that would be poetic. And Priest needs something, but Judgment Day has been so effective and so good over the last year now that even though Priest hasn't rocked it, the group has been so money that you could possibly pull that off. And at the end of the day, their heels were supposed to boo them anyway.
Yeah, it's like, well, first off, let me go straight off to this Rocky thing. You might have sold me on this Randy Orton thing, because
Hey.
it's like you say, what else is Randy Orton gonna do? I mean, people mentioned him facing Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania, which
Like, we
that
done
would
got
be
that on
boring.
SmackDown, bro. Like, come on now.
That would be boring. But so it's like you gotta have something for him to do, and having him possibly get involved because Seth is gonna be busy with Drew, obviously. Having him get involved to have Cody's back, that's gonna make sense. And he's already on SmackDown at that. So you might have won me over on that. That might legit be a
No.
dark horse pick that we might have to really watch out for.
Because Seth can't have Cody's back. He's got to handle his business. That was conveniently because it was decision time. But he's got to go back to doing his thing, and Cody doesn't have anybody else.
Yeah, and also too, like that, I saw Brian Alvarez mention a possibility of Seth and Cody versus Rock and Roman on night one, which that's obviously out the window now. And I don't
Right,
think
like,
Seth is going to be ready in time for the chamber match, for the tag match to happen. Unless he's ready, I don't see it happening within these next couple of months. So maybe that'll be saved for a SummerSlam, because there was obviously something there with them four specifically. But Randy might take his place, so we can look out for that. But also, yeah, this card with and Priest too possibly cashing in on Seth, that would be poetic. But it also just brings up the question that I ask multiple people this. Yes, we love Judgment Day. They have been hot as a group. They're kind of lukewarm now, in a way, very room temperature-ish. But do we really want to see a Damian Priest world title run? I mean, at the most, if he was to win that title, I don't see him holding it for longer than a pay-per-view cycle, in all honesty. I don't see it being longer than that. And you got to really think about who your champions are going to be these next coming months, because I truly feel that that belt, no matter what, is going straight to Gunther at the Bash at Berlin. Because before Punk came in, I thought it was going to be Mania, but I think it's going to happen in Germany. That's going to be his coronation. So you really got to think about who your champions are going to be within these next time frames, and how much that belt is going to be flip-flopping.
Now, pass the belt around. If you're asking me, if I'm in the writing room, I'll be the person that says, "What's the problem?" Because so I made this analogy. Seth has been kind of Triple H's, like, not the second coming, but like he's sort of been like his project ever since going back to the Authority, when they had their own WrestleMania match. And just
he's literally his day one.
Yeah, that's his man's, right? I was like, isn't this kind of cool? I saw a graphic that had all of the original Big Gold, once it came back to WWE, title holders, and it started with the Triple H run that everybody references as the Reign of Terror. I said, it's kind of cool that Seth has had this belt and beaten so many people, whether it's Shinsuke, Finn, Drew McIntyre, of like, man, I was pulling for each of those guys to beat him, but he beat them all, like, every time. Like, John Cena wins. Like, wow, really? Another one? It's been kind of cool that he has, like, safeguarded so far that belt's reputation to sort of make it be like, no, this is coveted. At this point now, you're right. There are a few worthy holders of that belt. Punk is one. Drew is one. Gunther's one. And then folks that want to see, Sammy get one. Meanwhile, Priest has the briefcase. They've got to put some legitimacy back on the briefcase.
That I agree on.
It sucks because they've fumbled Priest's stock ever since winning it. But going back to NXT, he's been a Triple H guy. He is a bigger guy on the roster, which does get you at least to a certain point in terms of credibility. He's not a bad wrestler or worker. The gimmick has always needed a little bit of work. It's been a little blurry all the time. But he can hold it for 4 weeks if you ask me. Just to say that we did it, it amounted to a victory. We got to put some money back into the Money in the Bank. I would want to see it. Even if, say, he's unsuccessful, I could see Sammy winning the next Money in the Bank briefcase match. And that being like, yes, 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 we're finally getting it in due time. And that's setting up Sammy's win. I could do that. Drew does deserve it, sort of right now. He sort of deserves a win at Mania, way more than Priest would with the cash in. But we'll see, man. Judgment Day is probably we'll see how they come out. They got to drop these tag belts. Who cares that they are tag team champions right now?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is a setup. I think that cash in could happen. That is a trope they like to use.
Unless Finn Balor and JD screws him over out of that briefcase, because it's something with that briefcase, man. And like you said, legitimacy does need to be put back into that briefcase, and this just goes to show. And I feel personally, I was proven right from the get-go. Damian Priest was the wrong pick to win the briefcase. I understand that he had a lot of losses at that time and he needed a win, but you didn't have to give him that win. There was plenty of other things he could have did. You could have gave him a US title.
In that match, Logan Paul was in that match. I say, he's already fought Roman. Just give it to Logan. Like, LA Knight may have been in that match.
He was.
I was like, I'd rather see Dom win the briefcase because at least we are going to boo the hell out of him. I know, it's far-fetched, but
he's too young.
They did it, whatever. Now you've got to make something of it.
Yeah, you really do, and it's like I feel. Listen, like the two people you instantly named. Let me start off. LA Knight, he still is white hot. Listen to his reactions, but you watch that Money in the Bank match. Oh my God, his reactions. He should have won, or you could have gave it to a Logan Paul. And to clear this whole mess, can you imagine if Logan Paul would have cashed in on Seth while he was injured? That possibly could have solved a lot of problems right now. If one of those two would have won, you could have solved a lot of problems if you picked the right winner, but you didn't.
Nah, bro, I can't hold you. I think a world title, depending on how long he does this for real. Say you look up and Logan's really been doing this 3-4 years. Bro's got a world title ceiling.
And didn't he say he wants to transition to a full-time worker? I think his new contract is making him a little bit more full-time.
Everybody, I think, in the company is aware that this guy's a natural. And depending on how serious he takes this, we can utilize him that way, and sky's the limit. Because they love mainstream appeal, even though Logan's is like, honestly, it's like, come on, guys. Like, with a certain demographic, they're familiar with Logan Paul. The general public couldn't tell you what he really does outside that. He's now sort of an athlete, but he has credibility. And you can't name me a bad Logan Paul match so far.
Yeah, you can't. Can you, Bash?
Right? He's being handled properly. I do think that – hold on, Bashi. I do think that LA Knight and Logan Paul at Mania, if that's what we get, that'll be dope. That'll be dope. Yeah. That belt also, there's a lot of that belt floating around at the presser. That's a damn good belt.
Oh, yeah, that U.S. belt? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It looks better than the IC belt. Out of all the belts, honestly, that they redesigned, the IC belt was the one that they should not have touched. The U.S. belt 100%, and that was a major upgrade because that is a nice looking belt. I can't lie.
That's a fine piece of hardware.
It makes you low because I do want to get me a replica belt soon. I'm like, maybe I might get that one, maybe. But yeah, Logan Paul and LA Knight, I think that could be a direction for the U.S. title match at Mania. I definitely see that, and Logan Paul having a possible world title run in the future. If he does this full time, then yes, I say let's do it. I say let's do it. And who knows? Maybe maybe he does win Money in the Bank this time around.
This next Money in the Bank is going to be juicy because even Jey Uso sneaking in there would be big time.
I mean, this
is
mind you, Bash loves Jey Uso. In the car, I get him lit to go to school sometimes because he won't want to go. And I'm like, Bash, you got to go. I'll play him like some wrestlers' music after I was like, wait a second, because he likes singing along to the songs. Dude, in the car, I kid you not. If I'm like, Bash, you want to hear music? He'll say, play my Uso song, Dad. Play the Uso song. I swear to God. And he's like, woo-hoo.
Does he do the wave at all?
Yeah. I swear. So he came back in the conversation that when he heard his boy Jay.
I love it. You gotta start them young with the wrestling fandom, man. You got to. But yeah, possible Money in the Banks this year. This is what happens when you have a stacked and deep roster like WWE has now. That roster is loaded. And everybody's built up in a position to where, like, hey, if somebody goes down, somebody can step up. A la like their roster in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. Like when Stone Cold went down, The Rock stepped up. Went down. Triple H stepped up. Triple H went down. The Undertaker stepped up. So on and so forth. Where you have that now, Roman goes down. Cody steps up. Cody goes down. Seth steps up. Seth goes down. Drew steps up. You got Punk in there. You got guys. Sami Zayn steps up. Kevin Owens is going to step up. You got guys on that roster, man.
Bruh. No, man. I'm trying to like go over and make sure we're sort of hitting on the nuances of what's going on right now because what I've been saying is like, dude, their deck is just loaded. And even when the CM Punk, Brock, even when cards get pulled from the deck, it's like, all right, bet. We're gonna slap this one down. Like, all right, how you like that one? Okay, we gotta hold this one. Let's rearrange. Let's play it safe, maybe. But the time is still coming for a lot of folks, like we're saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. And we can't predict yet what's going to happen, but this is the beauty and what wrestling fans can't help but do is project and get into it. But I have to mention this. You're not going to like this, nor will most of the internet. There's a chance, bro. I think you know what I'm going to finish this with. But there is a chance. And last year, I was on Roman's camp. I know I'm so mad that I wasn't there in person. You were. I would have been the one jumping up and down when they counted 3 after the spear. This year, after watching American Nightmare becoming Cody Rhodes twice, there's no way you can't root for Cody. And I feel like that just this insertion of The Rock cracked the door just enough for Roman to possibly win again.
I mean, it's not too far-fetched. I think Roman has finally entered that John Cena element of ways in those matches of which you just never know. Well, not necessarily right now. You just never know if he's going to win or not. He's not there, obviously, quite yet now, but he's entering that now, particularly with this Cody match. But yeah, there's that tiny window. But I think it's safe to say, like, nah, that Triple H knows, like, this has been a year-long story. He was like, listen, this is just the first chapter, so nah, I think it's safe to say this time around, this chapter in this story is closing, and then this is going to transition Roman from this phase of his character into the next in this feud with The Rock. Now, is this a transition finally of Roman going from that heel persona to the biggest babyface in the world that WWE finally wanted? We could possibly see, man. Because listen, the storytelling you can do with having Roman lose the title this time around is bountiful. There was a lot you could have did. Obviously, everything that transpired last year, Roman did not need the title to do. That's all those storylines. He did not need it. But now, I think it's imperative for him to not have the title no longer after WrestleMania in order to make things feel fresh and move forward.
You're making a good argument because you incorporated what I want to see in the argument for him losing. Because what I said was, you look at MJF's title reign, you look at CM Punk's 400, however many long days title reign. These title reigns that span a year's worth of time, there's almost always a turn built in to the title reign because there's almost no way to get somebody straight through without having that character evolve or turn and incorporate the crowd reaction switching about them, you know? And I felt that this Roman title reign, the last element that is the cherry on top of it is that I want to see him get the face turn where he says, you know what, y'all, get out of here. I'm done with all y'all. I don't need you guys. I never did need you guys. Let me show you that I don't need you guys. Let me go out there by myself and that, you know, somehow earn the crowd's respect in the fact that he's doing so. But if he beats Cody, there's no way in hell he will get any brownie points from the crowd. And one loss right now to Cody, what that would do, like you said, on the backside of now you're pitting him, because you know what, like we were saying, we think that The Rock is going to have Roman's back this whole build. Essentially, there might be tension of who's who, but I think it will be intentionally set up to where it looks like Rock is full bloodline until it's like you lose and then you embarrass the bloodline. That's not what we do. And then Roman can, you know, easily. Hold on. Nobody did what I did. Not you, not anybody, you know, blah, 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 blah. Let me talk about myself for a second. Let's look at what I did. And everybody in that presentation, the folks are going to love Roman. Shout out. Did you ever used to listen to Mac Mania on the Ringer Wrestling Show?
I did not know.
I got into it late last year, and it became my favorite show, dude, during the week. And then it abruptly sort of ended. The guys on the show went their separate ways. I saw my guy Evan Mack. I heard him at the Rumble presser, and then I saw him at the Rumble kickoff event. And I was like, hold on, that's my boy Matt. I was lucky to get a credential with the station, and I was like, I gotta say what's up to him while I'm down here. That'll be dope. And shout out to him. I'm gonna get this guy on the podcast. I went over to him. I was like, yo, what's up, man? I used to listen to you. I heard your voice during the Rumble kickoff, during the Rumble press conference, and was like, oh my God, Mac, I ain't heard him since the show ended. And then I see where you are now. I'm tapped in now. I just want to come holler at you, say what's up. You know, black folks, happy Black History Month. Shout out, keep doing what you're doing. We all love wrestling. We think wrestling's great. And he was real solid, bro. He was like, hey, man, I appreciate that. Question, what do you want to see for WrestleMania coming up? And we just kind of talked Mania for like 2-3 minutes. One of the points that we shared, I was like, dude, we got to stop playing with Roman, because once he does drop this belt, we don't know how much we're going to get our tribal chief much longer. Like,
yeah,
the boos are fine. I get it. Let's also give him one more run of like appreciation, because he's gonna say see ya before long, after the reign is sort of over. And And he was like, bro, emphasizing, agreeing with that. Like, yeah, dude, we got to get some appreciation for Roman before he's out of here as well. That could happen at The Rock's expense. But I think he does need to lose for the crowd to welcome him back to the good side.
Yeah. And what I think, too, what will help with him if he lost, too, I think he would get that, like, yo, after this long title reign, they would probably give him a standing ovation of respect. Like, yo, you are in the top 5 of the longest reigning world title reigns in the history of pro wrestling. That is respect alone. And see, here's the thing. The crowd, people like me too, they just want to see him drop the belt. They don't want to see him go away or anything. It's just, it's gone past its expiration date. It's time to move forward. It's time to crown Cody.
But I can agree with you. I can agree.
Yeah, it just went past a little too long. And so now with him dropping the belt, putting Cody over, the crowd will see, hey, you put over Cody. And then that's the next chapter of this Tribal Chief storyline. Now, how Roman
thank you.
Yes. And now the question is how Roman loses. That is the biggest question of them all that I know that Triple H and everybody is talking about. Okay, we know you're going to lose, but how are we going to do this? Is The Rock going to cost him the match? I don't think it should go down that way. I think Cody should beat Roman clean.
Cody's got.
I think he should beat him clean.
Beat him. He's got to.
He got to beat him clean. And then if you want, I think honestly, I think you keep Dwayne as the heel during the Rock Roman feud.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I think you keep Rock as the heel, honestly, and then the Rock is the one that kicks Roman out of the bloodline. Because listen, everybody, I'm about to give you some. This is a shoot. This is real life. The Rock, in his family bloodline, he is labeled the High Chief. So he is literally the head of the food chain. Like, he got knighted that in Samoa. Like, that is a shoot.
When we look at that tree, that graphic wasn't made to flash one time in Las Vegas. That will as beautiful as that thing looked, they're going to show that time and time again, especially once this feud kind of resurfaces. I looked at it in detail. The Rock and Roman, for one, what he said was that their grandparents, their separate grandfathers, entered a blood oath. Rock and Roman are on two opposite sides of that lineage, and without being an ancestral, and whatever whatever person studies lineage, I believe there to be no blood directly between The Rock and Roman Reigns. They are cousins under this blood oath that was entered amongst their grandfathers. And at that point, but Roman is an Anoa'i, Rocky is a Maivia. Their bloodline, yes, but once it's time for them versus each other, they're on opposite sides of that bloodline. That's just one thing to where, that's built in for them to have a divide.
And not only that, just when you mentioned like the separate sides, that could play into this. Like going back to what The Rock said, he's a long gamer. In which I think there's multiple things into that. Number one, I think straight off the bat, Rock and Roman is happening at 41, and I think 41 is going to be out here in Las Vegas because you have to have the marquee location to do the match too.
I told Mac this. I thought they were going to announce 41 at the presser. They didn't. It didn't give off that kind of. It also didn't give off that vibe. That presser. Yeah. That felt like a show. That's like, let's just fix these loose ends. Anywho, I told him Rock Roman feels more like Vegas than it does Philadelphia.
100%. That's why we were saying in Los Angeles was the perfect setting. Dallas was talked about for the match too, which you could have made. It's got to
be at a venue. Like, it's got to be at either in a city or like at the Garden, which isn't big enough. But like, it's got to be at the proper venue.
That's why I said you could have made Dallas work, because Cowboy Stadium, that is 100,000. That is 100,000 capacity stadium. So you could have made it work. But yeah, doing that match in Las Vegas, giving it that like, that big Muhammad Ali boxing, Floyd Money Mayweather type of box office feel. So I think, that match is definitely happening. I think we could possibly see, like, you never know. What if because I think Jay and Jimmy Uso are gonna get involved in this storyline somehow.
That story's gonna be beautiful. I think that story pulls Rikishi out, that pulls Solo, in a different light. I think that pulls his daughter up. I think that story we get some real Jerry Springer-esque, like, yo, this is some messy drama here. Like,
not only that, Jacob Fatu, he's out there, and Booker T said he's actively trying to get him in WWE. So you
that
never know,
bro. That thing was a thing of art, bro.
That
was something to behold.
I'm not gonna lie, that was awesome.
And we got to be real, bro. I think I'm glad we circled back to it right now, because this is redemption for The Rock. The Rock right now, I think, feels, The Rock is sort of Teflon. He's made it. He's gotten over, to use the wrestling terminology, everywhere he's went. He got over in wrestling, got over in Hollywood, did it to, with great success both places. However, he hasn't rubbed everybody the right way along the way. And in doing so, it's hard to satisfy all of these different fan bases or do things the right way along the way. But right now, given, like you said, or, like you're more aware of what went down sort of with the Black Adam sort of flop, with the people who don't love his acting, with the people who don't look at him as the greatest wrestler of all time, or like don't put him in that conversation because he didn't hold the belt enough, because it was short-lived, whatever you want to call it. I think The Rock feels in his heart of heart that he is a one of one and the greatest to do all these things. However, he's not publicly regarded as that.
He should feel that way.
Yeah, you should feel that way about yourself. Yeah. You done some shit, brother. Like,
man, as you should. You got every right to feel that way.
Hey, but I think this run right now, this return run home, which is WWE for him, as The Rock. But this is your time, bro, to captivate everybody again and go down as as one of these just one of ones, and do what Stone Cold never did, do what Hogan was never able to. Like, this is your time, bro, to separate yourself from everybody else if you're able to. Like, you've got to use this. You know what I mean? Like, does it not feel that way?
Yeah, I'm just feeling exactly where you're going with this, because, like you said, Hogan never did nothing like this. Stone Cold, he never really had no official retirement run. His was a secret this whole time. So, if he wants to go out with a bang with a story, like, where it can and has the potential of going, then, hey, man, you can go down like, yo, you ended your career. You probably had the greatest ending to a career ever, storytelling wise. And so if he plays his cards right, and he's going to easily win the fans back over. And I think he understands, like, yo, if I do business with Cody and whatnot, the fans are going to easily win. I'm going to easily win them over, because, he didn't necessarily destroy the DC universe like what some wrestling fans will say. The DCU was already a failing product as it was, and Black Adam just was not it. And so, in a way, don't get me wrong, I can break down. I'll give you a quick cliff note. Dwayne, he basically tried to pull a power play and try to take over DC. Black Adam is really a Shazam villain, and he wanted to separate himself from Shazam. And so he basically tried to have it set up. And so instead of him facing Shazam, he ended up fighting Superman. And basically, Black Adam did not work. It failed. It lost a little bit of money, and so they scapegoated him out, like, yeah, he was one of the reasons why it failed, and so he lost a lot of faith with the comic book fan community. And so, like we said, like, if he has to play his cards right with being back in the wrestling business, because this is the last set of, like, loyal fans that he has committed to him, and you cannot lose that grasp with this audience. So if you tell a good story right, let Cody finish his story, the fans are going to easily come back. They're going to easily come back around within the next couple of months.
Yeah, no, you look at everybody, it's like you post all these gym videos. We know you're in shape. Figure out how to, work these matches without hurting your body. If you do that, you can go out in a way that nobody else has really gone out. And we don't know when the end could be or should be for his little run. As long as he probably wants to do this, he could. But you could do this. You could enter a LeBron phase of this is a run that nobody else has sort of pulled off. Like, you look at Undertaker, you look at Shawn Michaels, you look at how Triple H never had a real proper last match. Mm-hmm. And we are sort of robbed of that. Hey, man, hey.
Yeah, that sucks in regards to Triple H, man.
Yo, this is the furthest fetched thing I could say right now. You can't tell me Triple H doesn't have that itch.
He has that itch, but you know Steph is gonna say no. Steph is gonna be like, hell no.
I know. But remember, we were supposed to get Rock and Triple H at one of these 30 WrestleManias.
Yeah, it was supposed to be WrSMania 32.
Right.
It was 32, but Rock's schedule would not line up. It was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 32. But I don't see... With Triple H getting older, and that was a very, very, very serious health scare. So, and he's getting older, so yeah, he's not getting back in. He's not eating. Plus, he's making... He's in a position that he's been primed and waiting to be in for years. So I think he's chilling, really. I think he's chilling.
Foley wants to have a death match. If Ric Flair wrestled that song, I know. I agree. It shouldn't, probably won't. Fantasy, but shout out to Sam Roberts. One of the 3 rules he has for wrestling. One is to speculate wildly. I'm just saying we didn't get that match. That whole backstage at the presser, and you fix it, mother effer hard F-bomb this, like,
well,
Roman,
listen,
you're lucky. Woo! If only,
I'll give you this. We won't get a match. We won't get a match, but we won't get a match, but we will see for sure. We're obviously going to get we're more than likely going to get a promo battle out of the two of them next Friday.
Right. And now, doesn't that also sort of lean in to Randy jumping into this?
I can't. You can, because you could have Triple H have somebody come in like, who could I have come face me? I mean, you might be winning me over on this. Randy Orton is really is a dark horse for WrestleMania, man. And I feel Rock is I think Rock is for sure going to be wrestling. He is for sure going to be wrestling, and then putting him in a match with Randy Orton will protect The Rock 100% with his style. So it's a possibility, man. It's a possibility because because I think Dwayne thought he was going to be wrestling Roman at Mania this year, and apparently I think he did confirm he is ring in shape ready. So I am going to keep my eye out on this Randy Orton situation because you're not going to have him not on the card.
Black tank top Rock looked like he for sure getting in the ring.
Yeah, and this is not, and mention like when people bring up, Hollywood Rock is back. This is not necessarily going to be Hollywood Rock. Let's be real. Hollywood Rock was a wee bit goofy. I don't think we're going to get goofy Rock.
Yeah, no, this Rock is business. Yeah, he means business. This is the businessman.
This is the corporate. This is the corporate villain Rock that people think he is. He's like, oh, this is what y'all think I am? All right, we gonna lean into this. Because he was like telling people, fix it. And then you're having people like Big E and CM Punk vividly mention that he's on the board. Like, you can't ignore that fact. You can't ignore it.
That these guys' superior is out here acting a fool.
Man. Listen, man, Dwayne.
And shout out to Punk, man. Punk on the mic in this commentary role. Remember his first dip of the toe back in the WWE was that backstage show on Fox Sports that went away after about 4 episodes.
Yeah,
talks
Kobe
about
killed that.
right. That might have been it. He talks about wrestling in such a valid way, like when he's not cutting, like just in commentary mode, that I think I need him like on the mic. I need him on the booth, low key, on this lead up to WrestleMania. I need more Punk on commentary while he's away, and that's also because his story, man, it was so weird at the Rumble because his return felt funny, like something felt off in the Rumble. Watch as it came down to it, where it was like it was kind of clear the folks weren't ready for Punk to win that because there was no story built in. It was just your back. But what exactly is the story? Why are we rooting for you or against you? And I think we just need to keep him not hidden while he's away. I think he should be in the limelight until he's ready again, whether that is appearing on TV, cutting promos backstage with people. I don't know, even if it's something. I think that you keep that connection with him and the crowd alive when he's present. And we don't want that to just sort of like get lukewarm. Because then we don't know what we're doing when he comes back, and they're going to botch it somehow.
Yeah, 100%, because CM Punk is still a ginormous name, and what he's known for is talking. And so I think Triple H is a smart man, and I think he noticed that too. Like, he's gonna have him on. He's gonna. I'm willing to bet money Punk will be on that WrestleMania kickoff panel and whatnot. He's gonna be a presence felt. And then let's have Drew win the world title at WrestleMania, and Punk is around, and then you can just have Drew torment Punk, just waving around the title all around on the shows and constantly mentioning his name. And then once Punk is back and ready, which hopefully I'm thinking maybe he should be back by SummerSlam from what I'm guessing. Then you can, if Drew can still be champion by then, because that's only like what 4 to 5 months. And then you could do Drew versus Punk. You have a well-made feud set up and ready for you right then and there. And then you'll still have Punk versus Seth on the back burner whenever you want that ready. And then whenever Roman's done with The Rock, you got Punk and Roman ready for you whenever.
One of Punk's best assets is that he finds himself in positions he has no business being in, and overcoming those predicaments and having the crowd fully in his back pocket doing so. And Punk beating Drew is one of those, let's be real, CM Punk should not be beating Drew. But with the entire universe behind him, it's one of those moments that you have to book. The only sort of obstacle to making that happen is Bash at Berlin is before SummerSlam. And I'm in line with you in that Gunther's main eventing that one way or another.
In Germany? Like, let's be real.
Eventing that.
In Germany?
Now, we can figure this all out as we get there. But maybe Gunther's undefeated still, and then you line him, I don't know, against Punk or something. But either way, oh, man. There was a funny note, and we're going to get out of here, bro, because I think we've done what we needed to do, and that being just capture this lightning rod sort of moment.
Yes, sir.
Gunther needs one more element. Shoemaker talked about this on the Masked Man show about try to explain to your friend or lady friend who's watching the wrestling with you what Gunther's real crux story is. And it's pretty simply that he cherishes the in-ring wrestling. He wants the art form to be respected. And he had a weight loss journey. That's sort of it.
Yeah.
If we can sprinkle something else on Gunther, oh man, everything else is done. Everything is there. Absolutely everything. We'll see. He doesn't need much at all, though. Even in this version of just, respect the ring. It sort of gets it done.
Yeah, with Gunther, I feel maybe, like, that little thing you're saying he's missing. Maybe maybe tap into some of what Bret Hart be saying about some in-ring aspects of like he's just not liking what he's seeing. He doesn't have respect for it. Tap into that more.
All the
And
way, at least.
I feel like honestly, damn. And this is why I'm kind of mad that Lesnar is involved in this because I think a match
That'd have been
with
great.
Lesnar
It'd been
and
great.
then him beating the absolute holy hell out of Lesnar with all those chops, I think that would have took him to a whole nother level because it's just the visual and the sight of it of
And
him going up against Lesnar,
taking suplexes, bouncing around, kicking out of an F5. We might get it still. Lesnar's pretty much non-grata right now. I don't think we've seen the last of him in WWE, but we might have. There's a chance that we have. If he didn't do, I don't want to talk about that case. But he didn't do what Vince did, so we shouldn't treat him the way we're treating Vince.
Yeah, it's just he got too much heat on his name right now. That's what it is. Your name is too hot right now, buddy. We need you to sit down somewhere. You got to pull a Ric Flair, go hide off somewhere because remember Ric Flair fell off the face of the earth and started popping back up, and then he got his little woo back into the intro and whatnot. So Lesnar has to pull that. Now, does he want to come back and wrestle again with Vince no longer being there at all?
Right, maybe not.
That's something, we got to think about. Yeah, because he was a Vince guy. Vince let him do whatever he wants. Let's remember now. He walked out of that SmackDown originally, that morning of SmackDown when Vince stepped down, and it was a couple people. And I think I truly feel that Vince was one of the people that called Lesnar and was like, "Yo, you can't do that. You walk out on them, you walk out on me." I truly feel that's what it was. And so
Lesnar seems loyal.
Yeah.
There's more. There is more. I want one NXT match on the WrestleMania card. We have Stand and Deliver. I love NXT. We were talking about NXT a while back when I was like, bro, 2.0 has been cooking. It's been cooking. I think a lot of people have observed that now. Trick and Mello. Whoo-wee. Trick and Mello is going to hit something ridiculous, man. And then you also look at that. The last person, and I believe the only person to have beaten Gunther is Ilya Dragunov. Current NXT champion. He's main roster bound, I think, before mid-year. Unless he has one of those Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, like 2-year NXT runs because he just is the champ forever and ever. But Dragunov will have a match with, that might be who takes the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther.
Also, too, there's another person you want to talk about NXT.
Braun?
I'm surprised. Yeah.
No, bro, I'm with you, bro. We talked about him on the Rumble pod, on our Rumble power ranking winners. He was the wild card of just like, yo, he deserves a spotlight. There was all those reports of, Braun reportedly took the Lesnar spot. Yo, if they weren't booking Braun to be in that Rumble already, that would have been malpractice.
Here's the thing of what I think happened. I think that Braun would have been in that Rumble 100%, no doubt. But the Lesnar thing is what pushed it even further. So I think Braun kind of took Lesnar's role in the match. And then they had that Pat McAfee spot too, which was a waste. So I think it was a mix of both of those in a way to make up for Lesnar not being in there. Because that's a major factor of him not being in that match. And Braun, man, listen, Braun's the future. If you got people like the Undertaker saying that he has it, the Undertaker literally said that. If you got Undertaker saying that, oh yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Only every so on does a wrestler come up that fits the Goldberg mold, the Batista mold of just like, yo, big jock, believable, doesn't have to blow us away on the mic, got just enough charisma to come out there. But the fact that Braun is a Steiner and this dog barking that he didn't even have to lead the crowd on at the Rumble. They were barking on their own at his spots. Like, he's got it, bro. 100%. 100%. And Mello is the black Shawn Michaels we never knew we were going to get, that we're all going to be privileged to get.
It's literally they're gonna be your Superman and Batman of the company moving forward.
And then Trick Williams, bro. Hey, sky's the limit.
People saying in the back that they think Trick might be a future Mania main eventer because of that reaction on SmackDown.
Bro.
So you got to watch out for Trick. They might put, because you remember, like, Bianca didn't really do much in NXT, and then she became a star.
Never was a champ in NXT.
She was like a star, but she wasn't like one of the top dogs.
No.
Rick is kind of in that tier. So don't be surprised if that same type of rocket pack happens to Trick, because he has the look, the charisma, the audience is behind him.
100%, bro. 100%, dude. And he's got this built-in Diesel Shawn Michaels element with Carmelo Hayes that is main roster worthy already. And yeah, bro, I don't know, man. It's nuts right now. When you lay all those things out, this is my last thing. I don't know how in the world a Kazuchika Okada or a Mercedes Moné Sasha Banks, when you just look at the deck, bro, and I don't hate on AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Suge did a great point of separating the two entities and being that they're not the same. And I'm in agreement that both can and will succeed going forward. But when you look at all these things, bro, it's just like, Sasha, really, bro? Really? Really?
Well, let's be fair with Mercedes. It could be a very personal thing with her,
which it seems like it must be.
And I think it's because remember, Jim Ross said it's a situation. It's between the two C's. It's the cash or creative, and this situation, it's looking like the cash. She wants to get paid that Charlotte money, and they're trying to give her that B-level tier money. I think is going on, and you know Tony Khan's pockets is deep, so of course he gonna break the bank.
Yeah, man.
Okada, listen, nobody knows what Okada's gonna do, man. Because a lot of things, too, we got to think about, in particular with these international stars in AEW, what they offer them in WWE will not. Like Ospreay, for example, too. They're able to stay in the UK or Japan or whatever. WWE, they're going to make your ass fly out and move to Florida. So that option, and then being able to still wrestle here and there on the indies, too, to make a little bit of more side cash, that's why. But also, too, let's be real, since you brought up a couple of them. Oh, some of them stars, they're going to go to WWE. You know why? Because they're only in their very early 30s. Jay White and Will Ospreay, I think, respectively, 30 and 31. MJF is only 27. Like, let's be real. They're going to go to the E eventually.
Oh, man. And even like, you know what the other, and this is the beauty of having two successful companies now, because those sort of forbidden topics are inevitably going to come to fruition for some of them. We won't get them all, but like, bro, Mox.
Now Mox is killing it in AEW,
and he ain't coming back. I know he's not.
Never coming back.
He's resting on these laurels.
Never going back.
I won't
until
give
the
up.
Hall of Fame.
I won't give up on wanting it, and that's my right as a fan. But I'm gonna have to eat it because I know. But like, yeah, Man, and I've spent so much time on WWE that I will get deeper into AEW, what's happening, because you can't, much of 2023, I would watch Dynamite simply because it's hard to be disappointed. It's just hard to be disappointed at how hard those guys are willing to go. And even some of the things that don't stick or land, there's like a, what the hell is this? But I gotta watch it element to it. And they're succeeding. They are fully succeeding. Like when I talk about them, I try not to make it seem like I'm dissing them and that I'm a WWE homer. My loyalty is pretty clear. I can't help it. But
It'd be like that.
Right. I will give them their credit and their just due with time on the pod in due time, because it's a lot to sink your teeth into over there as well. There's plenty. I think they're knocking this Sting run out of the park. This Sting last run.
Oh yeah.
They've been bitten back by some injuries, of course. But Kenny just re-signed. He's not going anywhere. I'd love to think that Max was sometime soon, but he's not. Not
Remember,
yet.
like I said, he's only 26.
You know,
he will only, at the very most, and I'm thinking like a 5-year deal, he will only be 31 by the time he goes to WWE. So we can, but if I'm Max, I wouldn't sign. I hope he didn't sign no 5-year deal. I hope he signed a 3 to 4 year.
Nah, he's got to pull a LeBron. Let's do that 1-1 player option.
The player option.
He's got to, bro. This was good stuff, dog.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, this was fun, man.
And we will do it again on the road to WrestleMania, because, bruh, this is crock pot booking right now. This is simmering and coming together finally.
Hell yeah. Hey, hit me anytime. I'm always down for this.
Yes, sir. Y'all let them know where they can find you on socials, man.
Listen, man. I'm on the socials. You can find me on Instagram at k.fishflix. I'm on TikTok actively, posting my movie review and whatnot. Follow me on there with @fishflixfilm. And on Twitter, you can go ahead, find me as follow your boy, Fishflix. Yeah, I'll pop up right in there.
Yes, sir. All of that. And likewise with the pod, D Hoop University, we will be back very shortly. I've got to talk Super Bowl, got to talk trade deadline, NBA All-Star breaks coming up. And the getting is good. Got some more guests in the tuck that will be on sooner than you know it. Like, follow, and subscribe. Keep on keeping on. Don't be a stranger. We want your thoughts and opinions. And wrestling's great. We love it. And till next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Sir, till next time.